What's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Hey, you see the screen, you read the thumbnail. This is a sad, sad story coming up out of the DC area. But we got to touch on it because things like this need to be brought to the attention of the world, and people really need to understand that things like this can do and will happen, and it's quite possibly it could happen to you or someone you love. So we need to find ways as adults to protect our children at all costs. Now, this is from the lawandcrime.com website, and it reads: somebody is dead over a dispute over sauce. Teen girl fatally stabbed 16-year-old quote-unquote friend outside McDonald's during argument over sweet and sour, says the cops. Now, there's a whole lot to unravel just on this statement alone. Because one, you got teenage girls, 16 years old, and they're supposed to be friends, but y'all got so mad over each other over some sauce. Now, if you ask me, I think if you dive a little deeper into it, I believe the sauce will be the tip of the iceberg. You know, the camel that, let's say, the straw that broke the camel's back. Because for the life of me, trying to think logically, what could not and will not understand why someone will hurt their friend so bad. Well, pretty much, stab their friend over some McDonald's sauce. But I have an idea of why it happened, and a lot of people probably gonna think I'm crazy or not gonna see where I'm coming from. But the thing about it is, like I said before in other videos, I'm in a profession where I had an instructor who told me that you have to learn how to critically think to, number one, retain the information and to pass the board exam. And you have to ask the question why, and keep asking the question why until you can't ask the question why no more, because you have to get down to the root cause of issues. And a lot of times it's a lot deeper than you think, and a lot of times it's a lot simpler than you think. But anyway, let's get into this story so we can break it all down. A 16-year-old girl faces, make sure it's started. Okay, a 16-year-old girl faces a deletion charge and is stabbing death of her friend, also 16, outside of McDonald's in Washington, D.C. in an argument about sweet and sour dipping sauce. Police did not identify the accused assailant in this crime because of her age, but the girl from Waldorf, Maryland, was arrested on Sunday in the death of Naima Ligon. Also from Waldorf, police said she was charged with the second degree crime while armed, police said, adding she had a knife at the time of her arrest. Now, why? You probably wonder, why would a child have a knife in their pocket? Well, let's just think about it. Crime is up. Everybody knows Baltimore, DC, the Maryland area. There's a lot of crime there, just like pretty much anywhere else in the country. So you got youngsters who feel they probably have to carry a tool to defend themselves. Probably can't get a hold of probably can't get hold of that heater, which is good, which no kid should have a gun. You know what I'm saying? But she has the next best thing, and she thought, and that would be, a knife. Just so she had to defend herself, she will. It's a sad thing to think about. It's sad that that's the way that we have to think, or our children have to think. But it is. We have to find a way to deter this behavior and thought process. Okay, so at the end of the day, someone is dead over a dispute over sauce. D.C. Superior Court Judge Sherry Beatty Arthur said, the Washington Post reported. So this crime happened on Sunday in the 1900 block of 14th Street Northwest. Police said in a news release. Authorities learned about the stabbing at 2:10 a.m. when officers responded to a report of a girl seeking treatment for a stab wound at a local hospital where Naomi succumbed to her injuries. So I guess must have drove her to the hospital because she got stabbed. So at least somebody had, some kind of compassion for the young lady. But then, okay, so the next question is going to be, what are 16-year-olds doing out at 2:10 in the morning? I know in an interview, the mother said, she had rules, regulations, taught her daughter right from wrong. She understood what she's supposed to do. But in the end, she's a teenager. And that's probably the realest answer that a parent could give, because no matter what we think, kids are going to do things. If you got a child who never tried to do anything, that is a weird child. You never tried to buck the system, never tried to buck your rules, see how far they can take it. That's a weird, maybe a timid, scared child who may grow up, putting firecrackers inside of cats when they grow up. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, you'd be leery of that. So, like I said, that's the realest answer you can get. Matter of fact, quick story. Well, first, let's say this. She was not driving, first of all. Now, I know we in the time of cell phones. Everybody got cell phones. You better call your parents. Tell them, hey, I'm trying to come home, but the person's driving, ain't bringing me home. Can you come get me? This, that, and the third. I understand that's where we at. But then, kids would probably try to use the excuse of my phone died, so I couldn't call you. And then, you're going to go back and forth with them. You're going to be glad that they're home, but, you're going to punish them in the meanwhile, and they'll have to decide if what they did, was worth the punishment, right? But I can tell you a quick story. When I was a kid, I think I was in junior high, and I was hanging with my uncles and my cousins, and we was in a little small town, and they wanted me to go kick it with them, So, me and my mom went to go visit my grandmother and, my cousins, and they had to been, I'm gonna say late teen. They were adults. Let's just say they were adults. Like I said, I was in junior high and I'm riding with them. So hey, we driving from a little town, going across state lines to another little town, hanging out outside this club. Go stop by the beer store on this side, because you go to the other side, the alcohol content is less. So but I wasn't drinking nothing like that. I'm riding with them. It's still daylight. It's getting later now and later and later. Now I'm, like I say, young, naive. I'm following my uncle. But rolling with my uncle and my cousins. They older. Sure, I'm under their wing. I don't think we got home till probably like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Went back to my grandmother's house. Got there, pulled up. My mom sitting outside waiting on us. My other cousin, he ran across the street to his mama's house. My uncle, my mama, this is a standoff. My mama going off with my uncle, and I'm going in the house. While she out there fussing with him, this and the third, going off on him. So, like I said, I was out. I had no control of the situation. You fast forward, I think I did the same thing to my own little cousins when I got older. Same thing. Went out of town, we went kick it, and we was adults, they was the minors. They rolling with us. My little cousin was getting in trouble. We couldn't let him take that L by himself. So we sat there, and tried to take that punishment with him, with my aunt. So my point is, when you're not driving, you're not in control of the situation. You see what I'm saying? So there's no telling. And two, like I say, you're dealing with a 16-year-old, and they probably just trying to have one last night out before school started. I don't know. Maybe school started by then. I don't know. But hell, on a Sunday night, you got parents that work. I'll be damned if you're going to be out at 2 o'clock in the morning. And at 15, 16 years old, I don't think I could be out past 12 o'clock. Especially on a Sunday night, because parents got to work in the morning. You lucky to go out on Sunday night. So you got to be back so they can get some sleep. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a respect issue there. But again, we don't know the circumstance. We don't know the reason why. We just say, hey, it just happened. It happens. And hopefully people learn from it. You feel me? The 16-year-old girl was arrested a block from the crime scene and pleaded not involved. The the juvenile equivalent of not guilty in a hearing on Monday. The Post reported she claimed self-defense and the other girls started to fight. The paper reported, citing information from her defense attorney. So see, it's quite possible that, they're trying to beat her up. Because we don't know who had the sauce, who didn't get the sauce. Did somebody eat up all the sauce? Who knows? But you just know that somebody had a fight, somebody pulled out a knife, and that was a done deal. The prosecutor said the fight had been over when Liggins was stabbed. She was the only person who brought a knife to a fist fight, prosecutor Priscilla Guerrero said, the Post reported. The victim's mother, Joy Liggins, told Washington's WTOP FM she couldn't understand how any fight could end that way. Say, Naima was beautiful, smart, she was fun and unique, she loved life, she said. Liggins was set to start fall classes at Thomas Stone High School. This is heartbreaking and tragic crime for our school community. This is not the news a principal ever wants to share, let alone the day before we start a new school year. So they were supposed to start school on Monday and they are out at 2 o'clock in the morning. That is a good question. Like, why in the heck were these kids out that late when they finna start school in a couple hours? I don't get it. A neighbor told WUSA that Liggins was his first friend in the neighborhood. We just moved here, he said. Beautiful, very intelligent young girl. My son's only friend here. So he's impacted by this, and I would imagine all the rest of the kids in the neighborhood are as well. The girl accused of stabbing was held in juvenile hall with another court date set for Friday. And then when you go to, like this Fox News story, I know y'all don't like Fox, so all you Democrats, but hey, you gotta look at everybody's news to get the whole story. You gotta learn how to break a story down and get to the facts. And it says here, DC begins enforcing curfew to deter youth crime after teens fatal stabbing over McDonald's sauce pack. And they said the girl that did the murder, that did this act, is still refused to grant bond for the 16-year-old girl facing second-degree charge and other charges in the slaying of a 16-year-old Naima Liggins. So again, one, like I said, we got to break it down and figure out why stuff happens. That's the only way you are going to eradicate certain behaviors. Not blaming other people, not blaming politicians of the crime rate, of the unemployment rate. Because the majority of the world, let's just say, that these neighborhoods are in poverty. The majority of the world, compared to the United States, is live below or way below poverty. The problem is with the United States, the price of everything is so high that it's kind of like it's not like the same in other countries. Like, let's say like if you buy a gallon of gas here for $4. In these other countries, it might be like $1. I don't know. I'm just making up a number, but I'm just saying you kind of see that the cost of living here is a little higher than other places where there's poverty, but the majority of the world lives below the quote unquote poverty line. But yet America has more crime than a lot of these below poverty countries. Why is that? But I say that a lot of it has to do with the thought process. If we realize that the people of this country control this country, we can control this country. If we stop relying on politicians to fix the problems that they have created, we can force them to fix problems just by our acts. Like, if you don't like what a politician has done, I don't care about the promises. You can make it to where, hey, things got to be done first before we vote for you or your ticket, because it's really about the ticket. If you're really going on political lines, then it's about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or the Independent or the Green Leaf, Green Tea, whatever it is. If that's the case, then you got to be like, okay, you in power. Do something now. If you don't, then we're gonna either not vote or we're gonna go to the other side. It's as simple as that. So what do I mean by that? Like I said, we control what goes on in our daily lives. If you want to start the crime, number one, it starts with the home. Because we can't, in reality, really rely on these politicians because we never have been able to. So if we start at home, we educate our kids ourselves. I mean, you got the YouTube videos. They got plenty of books in the world. We know these schools are shutting down libraries, especially down here in Texas. They're closing libraries. They're taking out certain books. You know, they changing the curriculum to be more white kid friendly. You can teach your kids yourself, or you can make sure they learn themselves. You can find somebody who can teach them what they really need to learn. You can stay up out the public school system. You can find programs out there for your children to get involved in. Because matter of fact, because sometimes you can't avoid your child being out at night because you may be working. You may can't watch them. Okay, well, but when you do have control over them, that's the time you groom them. Make sure they're taught well. Make sure they're taught that they are in areas of positivity, right? Like in the daytime, they could be at a library, a public library that are open. There are plenty of public libraries somewhere. They could be at, I don't know, in an aquarium. They can be at a zoo. You know, they can go to, like down here, we got the Perot Museum, which is like a science museum, where kids who are, I think, who get like free lunch on the free lunch program and weekend SNAP and food stamps, they can get in for free on certain days. There are things that you can do to stimulate your child's mind as they're young. You know, if you can't get them out of a certain neighborhood, then that means you need to add something else to their mind to where they can have a chance to make a choice. Just give them a chance. Nothing is 100% going to work, but you give them a chance. So you start, like I said, you start with their minds when they're younger. When they get older, again, curfew, you set rules. If they, before a 2 a.m. stabbing happens, you set rules. Not saying that this couldn't happen at 11:59 with a new curfew. I'm not saying that, but if you could eliminate those 2 hours, this may have not happened. You see what I'm saying? So you set rules and you enforce them. And if the rules are broken, you punish them. Yelling, fussing, and cussing and slapping them is not enforcing the rules. It's not a punishment. Taking away privileges, taking away devices, making them do things. When my kids were younger, and one of the things that I would make them do if they got in trouble, disobeyed, broke a rule at home or at school or what have you, one of the things I would do was go buy a newspaper and have them read like the business section, you know, and read an article or national news or world news. Read an article, give me a summary. I didn't care if they plagiarized it, and then come back and read it to me and tell me what they got. Like I said, I didn't care if they plagiarized it, because my thing, what they ain't realizing is that they are learning to read, write, and study, and to learn how to comprehend stuff. That's what I was doing, or, you know, writing, doing math problems, or doing something, reading certain books, coming up and reading to me out loud. Don't matter if I was sleepy or tired. You read, I'm gonna close my eyes, and if I open my eyes, you better still be reading. As simple as that. But like I said, there are things you can do that don't have to be like corporate punishment, but just enough punishment to where they get something out of it. Not like prison where you send them to their room with nothing. They just lay on the bed all day because, hey, all you got to do is go to sleep. I do that now. I'm old. You know, I'm in my 40s. On my days off, I might just lay on the couch all day and watch Tubi all day. I mean, that's not a punishment. That's not a punishment. That's just helping a child be lazy. They can go outside, do some yard work, pull weeds, do something, but you keep them busy. You keep them active. Keep their mind and their body active. So that way when they get older, they'll appreciate it and understand it, and it just be a force of nature. But anyway, those, just like I said, just small. But what I was gonna say is, what could be causing kids to get this upset? Like I say, I think it's more to it than just the sauce. But one thing we do got to do also, which is a major thing, is find a way to change the diets of our children. Find a way to keep our children from eating so much sugar, processed sugar, period. Because we all know McDonald's is fake food. I'm quite sure that sweet and sour sauce got more sugar in it probably than a bag of candy. And then you got sodas that have maybe like 17, cubes of sugar in it. Or sweet tea got all that sugar in it. It's, like I said, the sugar, which they say is like one molecule from cocaine. Sugar is addictive, just like nicotine is addictive. But because they sell it illegally, we don't think nothing bad about it. But it's everywhere, and it's killing our people. It's killing our children's brain cells. We already know the electronic devices are making them dumb. Man, I saw a video where it was like one of these running of the bulls type things. I don't know if it's in Mexico or Spain or whatever. And everybody's running, and this one person hit a corner and tried to stand behind the wall. And when they did it, they're looking at their cell phone. I don't know if they're taking a picture or scrolling, but they are nose deep in the cell phone. The bull turns that same corner, sees that person, slips and falls. The bull actually slips and falls in the middle of the street, gets up, turns back around, and just gourds whoever that, like a young lady, dead in the back of her ass, and just kept headbutting her while she's laying on the ground. While this child, because the child didn't know the bull was coming. Too doggone stupid. Too slow. Brain is just fried with this stuff, man. So, yeah, like I say, they got kids got to learn to put these dang on devices down. And we have to change the diets. Because the diets, this sugar and this stuff, this addiction to sugar, food addiction, is causing these kids' hormones to be out of whack for their age. They're just not ready for it. I mean, tell me that you would give a minor some drugs that are designed for adults. When you know they say the human body don't stop growing till you about 25, 27. The brain doesn't fully develop and start to really understand and process information correctly until about the age of 25. So up until that point, we are poisoning our kids. We are setting them up for failure. And then we wonder why we're getting what we're getting. Why we're getting a society that's dumbing down, that loves destructive music and well, let's just say music, because music is melodic, rhythmic, hypnotic. So it's going to program people's minds to think a certain way and to do certain things. Real simplistic. But anyway, those are things I say we got to change. It's simple. It ain't easy, but it's simple. And I think that it'll make our neighborhoods and our communities a whole lot better, and making more productive members of society as they grow up. I mean, there's other things that need to be done that can be done too, but those are the things where it needs to start. But anyway, tell me what you think about the story. It is a sad story, man. I mean, they're supposed to be friends, and they got so upset that a fight occurred, and the girl probably got beat up, turned around, and stabbed her. I don't know, but it's sad, man. Stuff like this shouldn't be happening to our babies. We got to do better to protect our babies. So tell me what you think. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. And with that being said, I leave you in peace. And I'll see you on the other side.